100% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, 100% reason to remember the name. He doesn't need his name up in lights, he just wants to be heard, whether it's the beat of the mic. He feels so unlike everybody else, alone, in spite of the fact that some people still think that they know, but no, he knows the code. It's not about the salary, it's all about reality and making some noise, making a story, making sure his click stays up. That means when he puts it down, Tuck's picking it up. Let's go.
Who the hell is he anyway? He never really talks much, never concerned with status, but still leaving him starstruck. Humble through opportunities given despite the fact that many misjudge him because he makes a living from writing raps. Put it together himself, got a picture connects, never asking for someone's help or to get some respect. He's only focused on what he wrote, his will is beyond reach, and now it all unfolds, the skill of an artist.
This is 20% skill, 80% fear, be 100% clear, cause Ryu was ill. Who would've thought he'd be the one that set the West in flames? And I heard him wreck it with the crystal method, name of the game. Came back, dropped Megadeth, took him to church. I like Bleach, man. Ryu had the stupidest verse, this dude is the truth. Now every
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Here's your 8:30 wake-up call for the second game of the King's Cup for the Canadian Athletic Club. They are taking on Medicine Hat Hounds. All right, is everybody awake and ready? Here we go. Looking at the ice, we're going to welcome back to the lineup Finn Heck. Number 11, he's going to be suiting up for the morning game here. Also called into action, McLaren Sharkey. He's going to be wearing the 18 sweater. Sitting out will be number 20, Gamniak. And as far as I know, that's it. Looking down the list here. Good morning. Congratulations to Team Grandparent. Won the 50-50. Larry Bykowski. Everybody hit him up if he owes you money. Quick pause here while we reset. We're going to get going in just a minute, folks. Three, two, one. All right, teams are ready to go. Welcome to Saturday Morning Coffee. This is the second matchup for the Canadians in the King's Cup. Puck dropped, handed off to the Hounds. They move it up the near side. That puck put back into the Hound zone. Put up the near side. Canadians put it back in the Hound zone. Hounds side. Here come the Hounds up the right side. Gerlitz center that. That's knocked down. Battle for it in the near corner. Now the Canadians coming away with it. Thorwaldson moves that up the ice. Cutting in is Rikas Gomez. Throws that in front of the net. Picked up by the Hounds. Hoffer chips that into the Canadian zone. Turcotte with it behind the net. Reverses the near side. That's going to be picking up a Boal. Boal skating the line. Puts it off the boards down low for their number 18 without a name bar. Handed it off. Rushing it up. There's a low shot. Who's number 13? Oh, that shot just out of play, and we'll get a stop here with 13:38 left in the first period. Did I say Sharky was 18? No, that's Morris. I'm sorry if I said that before, but Sharky's number 13 today. Zahara throws that in front. It's knocked down on the side of the net. And jumping on top of it is Mr. Brendan Schroeder. Face-off going to be the far side in the Hound zone. Canadians win that draw. Zahara throws that back, looking for Duffett at the point. That's intercepted by the Hounds. Hounds, number 5, coming up the left wing into the Canadian zone. Drop pass, looking for number 11. That's poked away. Zahara ends up with the loose puck for the Canadians. Coming up the right side. Hands it off. Drop pass back to Sharky. Sharky low shot. And that is kicked away by Schroeder. Puck on the far side. Hounds breaking out of their zone. Over to the near side. Matthew puts that in. Goes to chase it. Picks it up in the near corner. Tried to drop that back to Jaspers. That's picked off by Ulrich. Sharky chips that up to Burnett. Burnett coming up the left side. There's a shot. Tried to go inside the D. He blocks that. Hounds pick it up. Throw it up to the neutral zone. Turned over. Eagle picks it up for the Canadians. Goes to the far side to Burnett. Burnett touches that. Puts it into the Hound zone. Picked up by Schneider. Schneider moves it over to Woodrich. Up the near boards. Double clutch by the Hounds, and the puck's on the far side. Canadians keeping the Hounds in, but the Hounds, now it's turned over, low shot by Dollywall. That is kicked away by Schroeder. Hounds trying to move it to the far side. Picked up by number 6, Ulmer. Put out to center. Gorn couldn't knock it down. Ulrich sends that out towards the Hound zone. Schneider picks it back up. Gets it back to Gregens. Gregens up to the near side. Oh, right into the boards goes Bourne. That was knocked in by, I think, Ulrich. Eagle picks up the puck for the Canadians. Goes to the right side. Schufelt. Long shot right into the crest of Schroeder. And the Medicine Hat Hounds goaltender hangs on with 11:42 left in the first period. Here's a big hit on the near side by Dollywall. As the puck comes out, we'll jump to live action here. Face off far side, won by the Hounds. They moved around the boards. It's going to roll into the Canadian zone. Turcotte hustles back for it. Puts it up the near side for Heck. Heck has his pass knocked down by number 8, but it was picked up by Richard. Richard receives it in the corner, tries to move it up the far side to Schufelt. Schufelt to Heck. Heck with space coming up the left side. Toe drag. Tried to go in the backhand. That was swept off his stick. Goes below the goal line. Hounds move it to the far side. Cut up by Frostad. Frostad right on. Richard with couldn't get the shot off. That was blocked on the near side. Thrown back in front. Returns behind the net to the far side. Number 19 throws that up the ice. Knocked down at the line. Oh, Richard trying to feed Heck on that far post. Just past him. Enriquez Gomez keeps it in the zone. Frostad near side. That is poked away by Grillitz of the Hounds. Heck gets the puck, comes back in. Hounds couldn't get in the Canadian zone. Frostad knocks it down calmly. Gets it over to Turcotte. Turcotte up the far side. Mickelson takes that away for the Hounds. He's going to go back to his own zone. Gets it over to Knoll. Centering pass up to number 16, who dumps that into the zone. That's Hofford chasing it up. Over to number 18. Turn up the ice. Here's Enriquez Gomez taking it in. Down low. Backhand shot by Thorvaldsen. Save by Schroeder. Puck available in the near corner. Battle for it on those near boards. Four. Docks it loose. Escapes the check. Now he's free on the far side. Or looking for the pass. Decides up high for Morris. That shot. Hit a man. Goes to the far corner. 18. Flips that out to the neutral zone. Duffett's going to dump that back in the Hound zone. Hounds. Leafso setting up behind his own net. Goes to the near side. Wanted to connect with Knoll. That is thrown out to the neutral zone where Morris takes it and fires it hard back into the Hound zone. Hounds trying to stretch that down the ice. They're going to end up taking an icing call here. And we'll have a face-off in the far near side of the Hound zone with 9:27 left in the first period. Gentle reminder, first period is 15 minutes long. The remaining two will be 20 minutes long. No flood in the first intermission. We saved that for the second. Puck won by the Canadians. They take it into the corner. Here's Sharkey trying to move it off the wall. Hounds get a piece of it, throw it up the near side, knocked down by Morris at the line. Second attempt by the Hounds. Number 5 gets that out. Jaspers. Up the near side. Matty tips that into the Canadian zone. Webster out to set it up for Duffett. Duffett, far side. That gets just past West into the neutral zone and dumped back into the Canadian zone. Play continues with Morris put up the far side. Hounds keep it in the line, send that into the corner. Morris gets it over near side. Canadians starting to break out. Sharkey, nice pass to the right side to Morris. Morris coming up the wing into the zone. Centering pass for, I think that was Zahara. Skips over to Sharkey. Sharkey takes that down low. Drives behind the net. Waiting for the D to come on. Here's Eagle. No, not past Eagle. Nice pass to West. And the shot just missing that far post. Comes back to the point. Eagle keeps that in. Rolls around the boards to the near side. Where's Zahara with it? Ulrich takes a shot right on to Schroeder. Makes the stick save. Puck comes over to the near corner. From the point, Ulrich takes a shot. Pad save. Schroeder kicks to the far boards. Picked up by the Hounds. Put out to center. Ulrich puts up the near side, looking for Zahara, chips that into the zone. Makes the change. Here's the Hounds, stretching that down the ice. It's going to be tipped back into the Canadian zone. Play will continue with Bourne picking that up for the Hounds. Eagle chips it off his stick over to Ulrich on the near side. Lead pass for Dollywall coming up the left wing. Chips that, goes to chase it. Knocked down by number 19. Dropped back. And here's Taylor. Taylor puts it around the boards. Picked up behind the net by the Hounds' Bowl. Bowl puts it to the near side. Up to Bourne. Bourne has the puck taken away by Taylor. And it goes loose behind the Hounds' net. Chipped over to the near corner. Puck comes down to Dollywall. Gets that over for, I think that was Zahara. Comes back to the point to Turcotte. It's chipped out to the neutral zone. Frosted comes back for it before Bjorn gets his hands on it. Turcotte with the puck. Slides that into the Hound zone. Picked up by Boel. Boel comes to the near side to Woodrich. Woodrich driving the right side into the Canadian zone. Takes that into the corner. Stopped in his tracks there. They're going to battle for it. Up down loose. Turcotte gets it. Flips it up to the point. Kept in by the Hounds. Hounds take that into the corner. Handling the puck, number 4, Gerlitz. Centering pass. Chipped in front. Partial blocked shot, and it rolls towards Webster, who covers it up with 6:30 to go in the first period. Pause for a water break here. Hounds win the draw. Low shot. Webster kicks that to the far side. Hounds with the puck again. They put it back to the point. Canal floats that towards net. And Webster gets the glove on it. And we'll reset on the near side of the Canadian zone with 6:20 to go in the first period. Canadians win the draw in their own zone. Morris behind the net. Tries to slide over to Duffett. Knocked down by the Hounds. Hounds in the slot. Low shot. Misses the far post. Ward picks that up. Heck steals it back. Schufeld on the right side. Back to Heck. Heck coming up the left side. Dropped back. Richard over to Heck. Thrown into the neutral zone. Gerlitz going to get there for the Hounds in the Canadian zone. Morris bumps him off the puck. Directed towards the side of the net. Webster steers that down low. Morris over to Duffett. Duffett off the glass. Looking for Heck. Schufeld's going to take over. Back to Heck. Heck with a quick shot. That is blocked. Puck into the near corner of the Hound zone. Comes loose for number 16. Hoffer. He's going to reset, come over to the near side. There's a shot on net. Oh, it's sitting right in front. It's the Canadians, Thorvaldson, picking up the rebound, but couldn't get it past Schritter. Makes a great job moving over and taking away the rebound shot. The face-off will be far side in the Hound zone. Canadians come away with the puck. It's thrown into the slot. And the Hounds, Powell tries to put that out. Thorvaldson keeps it in. Centering pass from Ahor, knocked down. Ulrich finds that at the point. It bounces into the neutral zone. And Ulrich moves it up to the left wing, trying to move it to Hoare, but Hoare was slightly offside, and we got the call there with 5:03 left in the first period. The draw near side of the ice, just outside of the Hound zone. So they move the draw in front of the Canadian zone. Refs feeling that was a little more intentional. Sprung loose. Here come the Canadians. Thorvaldson on the left side. Back door. And the Canadians, Enriquez Gomez, couldn't pocket that at home. Hounds trying to move that up the far side. Comes into the neutral zone. Eagle pushes one player into another, and the Hounds trip over themselves. Hounds have that in the neutral zone. Put into the Canadian zone by Powell. Eagle behind his own net. Near side for Ulrich. Up to Hoare. Hoare centering pass to Thorvaldson. Thorvaldson left side for Enriquez Gomez. Centered that back to Thorvaldson. It's chipped against the boards. Hounds have that on the far side. Bowell uses the boards to put it back to the near side. Here's Eagle at the point. There's a shot right on to Schroeder. Puck loose. And now the whistle goes with 4:14 left in the first period. As Brendan Schroeder able to track the rebound and cover it up. Face off near side in the Hound zone. Puck on the near boards. Reverse behind the net. Chipped over to the near side. Comes back to the point. Here's Turcotte with a shot. Schroeder with the save. Battle for it on the near side. Now jammed out to the neutral zone. Frostad back to play it. Moves it over the near side around Leupold, sorry. And out to the neutral zone. West picks it up. Cycles over to the right side. Comes back to the left to Zahara. Zahara couldn't catch up to the puck. Hounds put it up the near side. And into the neutral zone it goes. Frostad knocks it back to the near boards. Turned around at center again. Turcotte picks it up for the Canadians. Gets the puck to Zahara. Zahara puts it in the near side of the Hound zone. Hounds get to it. Put her on the far side. Picking up is Leafso. Leafso trying to dance out of his zone. Cycles over to the near side. Gets into the Canadian zone. Throws that wide to the far corner. West with it. Puts that back to Morris. Morris behind the net to Turcotte. Turcotte tried to move that up. Schneider picks it up. There's a shot. Blocker save. And the rebound ends up in the rafters. We're going to stop here with 2:51 left in the first period. The draw will be near side in the Canadian zone. No score yet with 2:51 to play in the first period. Puck's dropped. Canadians come away with it. Dollywall is going to rush that up the ice. Going to the right side. Burnett taking the left. Dollywall takes that into the far boards. Taylor chips it down low. Comes loose for the Hounds. Canadians jump right back on it. Hounds, number 7, picks up the loose puck, sweeps it to the far boards. That's cut off by the Canadians' Dollywall. Hounds trying the near side now. Number 10, Bourne gets that out to the neutral zone. Canadians get it back. Here's Duffett. Feeds that up to Burnett. He was checked immediately. Puck goes loose into the near corner. Dollywall in there to battle against Schneider. Puck pinned against the boards. Now it comes loose for Woodrich. Woodrich stopped in his tracks in that far corner by Taylor. Dollywall sweeps that back looking for Burnett. He couldn't control. It was cut off by the Hounds. Dollywall with the puck in the near corner for the Canadians. Put back to the point, but that was intercepted by Bourne. He gets that out to center. Canadians steal it back. Morris, near side. That's cut off at center by Schneider, but it rolls over to the right side to Duffett. He comes in with speed, drives it down low. Schufeld in front, trying to tap that back door, and it just hops up on his stick. Put back into the slot. Hounds get a hold of it. They're going to bounce it off the boards. It's going to end up being an icing call with 1:17 left in the first period. Face-off going to be far side in the Hound zone. Just resetting the net, looks like, on the kind of left side of the screen. Now we're set. Hounds come away with it. Trying that lead pass out of reach of Gerlitz. Another icing call here with 1:10 to go in the first period. The draw will be far side in the Hound zone. Richard lining it up against Ward. Hounds push that to the neutral zone. Eagle back to play it. Throws that up the ice. Hounds keep that in the Canadian zone. Ulrich there behind his net. Set it up for the Canadians. Put that off the skates of Eagle. Puck returned below the goal line. Picked up on the near side by Mickelson. Mickelson cycles up high. Check that. It's Ward with the shot. Blocker save of Webster. And that is sent out of play. And we'll have a face-off in the Canadian zone. 45 seconds to go in the first period. Draw will be far side in the Canadian zone. Ward set to take the draw against Thorvaldsen. Ward wins it for the Hounds. Put against the far boards. Thorvaldsen knocks it down. 20 keeps that in. Now the Canadians come loose. Here's Thorvaldsen up the right side into the Hound zone. Throws that in front. Puck still loose. Coming out for it was Schroeder. He couldn't keep full control of it. Now a shot from Turcotte at the left point. And Schroeder grabs that one with 25 seconds to go in the first period. Draw will be near side in the Hound zone. Hounds. Oh, no, wait. It's the Canadians win it. Thorvaldsen got a quick shot off, and Schroeder had to be sharp with that one. Puck comes out to the neutral zone. Frostad puts that into the near corner. Hounds, number 14, Knoll, picks it up behind his own net. He tried to stretch that down the ice. It's ending up an icing call with 5 seconds to go in the first period. So one last chance here for the Canadians before the first period break. Shot from Frostad right from the draw, just wide. And the buzzer will go here, ending the first period. Teams will head to the benches, but not their locker rooms. Don't go far. I'm going to jump over and fix the camera. And we'll see you back here in just a few seconds for the second period. All right. Sticks a bouncing. Oh, we lost the main camera just for a second here. Uh-oh. All right. Technical difficulties, which, pretty much happens every second day. All right, puck in the... Oh, the Canadians score! With my head turn, who put it in? It looks like Oliver West scores for the Canadians with a 19:33 left in the second period. Oh, yes, always technical difficulties. Looks like we solved it. Puck put into the... It's coming back. Puck put into the Hound zone. Oh, centering pass. Hounds pick it up on the far side. Burnett keeps that in for the Canadians. Puck comes into the neutral zone, back into the Canadian side. Turcotte with it. Richard chips that in, goes to chase. Beat there by number 19, Powell. Excuse me. And the Hounds breaking out. Here they come up the near side. Oh, blown tire. It's 2-on-1. Back the other way. Backhand. Tap towards. Webster makes the save. Puck still available behind the net. Swept over to the near side. Canadians may have got lucky on that one. Centering pass. That's broken up by Schufelt. Loose puck comes over to Heck. Heck puts that down low. Hounds goaltender out to play. Hounds moving up the near side. Schufelt cuts that off. Comes back into the neutral zone. Turcotte puts that off the glass. Leafso gets that for the Hounds. Moves that up the ice. Here comes number 4. Gerlitz taking that up the left wing. He's got it into the corner. Gets the puck off to, I think, number 6. Comes up high. Centering pass broken up by the Canadians. Enriquez Gomez quickly up the ice to Thorvaldson. Thorvaldson sent down the ice, and it looks like into the box will be a tripping penalty is issued to number, I think it's 14. I think it's going to be Canal. Nope, number 4. Drop the 1, keep the 4. It's Gerlitz into the box, 2 minutes. Tripping called with 17-11 left in the second period. Canadians on the power play. Second period, been good to the Canadians so far today. They scored earlier, about 2 minutes ago. It's the Hounds here, though, that win the face-off in their own zone. Get the puck out to center. Frostad with it. Far side to Hoare. Back to Frostad on the near side. Pulls that off the boards. Comes in with pace. Stops. Gets it back to Thorvaldson. Thorvaldson. Left side for Hoare. Hoare walking it in. There's a low shot. And that hit traffic. Hoare gets it back, though. Up high for Frostad, left side for Hoare. There's a shot, saved by Schritter, sent to the far side. Dollywall with it, moves it over to Thorvaldson. Thorvaldson behind the net, picks up the puck, moves it over to Hoare. Hoare, down to Thorvaldson. Thorvaldson comes over to the near side. Sent down to Dollywall, there's a shot, pad save Schritter. Hounds get a hold of it, and they're going to put it the length of the ice. Webster sets that up for Frostad with 1:05 left in the power play. Outlet to Thorvaldson. Near side for Zahara. Back to Thorvaldson. Drop pass for Dollywall. Near side for Zahara. Zahara walking it in. That comes off a leg. Comes back to Zahara. He's hanging on to it. Now he moves it to Thorvaldson. Thorvaldson on the near side. There's a rip on Schritter. Makes the save with 15:53 left in the second period. Puck dropped. Canadians win it. Shot down low, and Schritter's going to make that save. We'll reset in the Hound zone with 15:47 to go in the second period. Canadians, 36 seconds left in their power play. Canadians win the draw, but the Hounds get a hold of it behind their net and put it out to center. Eagle knocks it down, gets it over to Morris. Morris with it, near side for Enriquez Gomez. Enriquez Gomez sets it up to Eagle, hands that off to Schufelt. Schufelt coming up the right wing into the Hound zone. Centering pass looking for Eagle. That was broken up by the Hounds. Eagle picks up the loose puck, shovels it to the far corner. Schufelt puts that back to the point to Morris. Morris has pressure, so he moves it back into the corner. Hounds have killed off their penalty. They send the puck down the ice. And the whistle goes for an icing call with 15:07 left in the second period. Face off going to be far side in the Canadian or in the Hound zone. Canadians win it. Low shot by West, blocked in traffic. Puck goes to the far corner. Zahara gets it back for the Canadians. Over to West. Down to Zahara. He tried to move that back to the point. That is picked off by Bourne. Bourne puts that out to center. Canadians turn it over. Sharkey up to West. West. Low shot. That is blocked by Leafso. Ulmer seals that against the boards for the Hounds. Sharkey keeps in there. West picks it up. Frostad with a shot from the point. That's knocked down in traffic. Hounds get a hold of it, get to center, and put that deep into the Canadian zone. Canadians cycle over to the near side. Kept in by the Hounds. Number 6, Ulmer. Chopped out. Now it rolls into the Hound zone. Schneider back for it. Gets that up the ice. Woolrich returns it back to the Hound zone. Big hit there at the end of the play by Zahara. Canadians break it out. Here comes West into the Hound zone. Comes to his right. There's a shot right on to Schritter. Makes that save. Cleared away by Griganes. Griganes up the ice. Looking for Dick. Dick takes that into the corner. Roughed up by Eagle. There's a shot from the point by Griganes. And Webster able to track that. Gets that in the glove and hangs on with 13:41 left in the second period. Face off near side in the Canadian zone. Spit off the glass and out to center. Schneider picks it up. Goes to the far side. Dollywall hauls him down. And the Cashman into the box. 2 minutes for tripping. Medicine Hat Hounds will be on the power play with 13:32 to go in the second period. Good chance for them to even up the score as they win the draw in the offensive zone. There's a shot from the point over the net. Canadians get a hold of it, put it up the near side. That's kept in at the point by Bowell. Bowell, low shot, kicked away by Webster. Puck into the near corner. Tried to drive it. Puck comes back to Bowell. Fired it through traffic wide. Comes back to the right point, picked up by Powell. Powell, that shot on to Webster. He kicks that to the near boards. Rebound picked up by Bowell. Goes to the far side. Put back to Powell. Powell couldn't get the shot off. Keeps in the zone, though. On the far side, Gerlitz handles the puck. Skating around. Now into the slot. There's a shot that's blocked by Eagle. Throw it out in front. And Webster able to find the loose puck. Stop and play with 12:37 to go in the second period. Faceoff will be far side in the Canadian zone. Hounds have 1:06 left in their power play. Scrambled, but the Hounds eventually come away with it. At the point, Schneider, far side for Loopold. It comes back to Leafso at the point. There's a shot by Jaspers, blocked. Rebound goes into the near corner. Puck thrown up the near boards and into the Hound zone. Hounds, 35 seconds left in their power play. The Hound, Schneider, sends the puck up to Jaspers. Jaspers coming up the left wing. Can't get around Duffett. Duffett takes him into the near boards. Puck comes loose. I think that's Zahara moving it around. Comes loose for Duffett. Duffett gets up to West, and West completes the clear, getting the puck into the Hound zone. Picked up by Schneider. 5 seconds left in the power play as Loopold comes up the left side, tries to get through the D. Duffett holds him up, and the puck rolls towards Webster, who hangs on with 11:29 left in the second period. So the Canadians kill off their penalty. Get a line change in. We'll set with fresh bodies with the face-off far side in the Canadian zone. Canadians win that one. Turcotte puts that behind the net. Battle for it in the near corner. The Canadians flip that out to the Hound zone. Hustling onto it is Heck. Couldn't get there before Powell, who puts that to the near side. Turned over by Frostad. Frostad dumps that to the far corner. Bowell tries to move that up. That's held in by Turcotte. In front, Schufelt, low shot. And Schroeder had to be sharp on that one as Schufelt was looking blocker side. Schroeder makes the save with 11:06 left in the second period. Face off near side in the Hound zone. Canadians win it. Richard, sharp angle shot. Rebound returns back to him. He throws it back to the point for Turcotte. Turcotte flips that into the corner. Schufelt activates. Pulls it out of the corner. Leaves that for Richard. Richard moves that back to the point. Pops just out. Hounds pick it back up. Coming up the right side is Bowell. He couldn't get inside of Turcotte, who puts him into the boards. Frostad takes that into the Canadians' corner. Comes loose. Nope, sent back. That shot blocked by Turcotte. Richard ends up with the rebound. Going across ice, looking for Schufelt. Frostad picks up the loose puck on the near side. And we got a whistle here. Head contact penalty. Looks like being issued to, I think that's Frosty heading into the box. Check that. Schufelt. That was my second guess. So Logan Schufelt, number 4 for the Canadians, into the box. 2 minutes for a head contact penalty called with 10:18 left in the second period. We'll put the Hounds right back on the power play. Canadians win the draw. Eagle puts that hard around the boards to the far side. Shredder seals that in, holds the zone. Pass to the near side to Leaf So. Back to Shredder. Shredder takes a shot. That hit a stick. Pops up in the air. And Webster calmly catches it. Flips it. Looks at it. Hands it off to the linesman. Face off near side in the Canadian zone with 10:07 to go in the second period. 1:47 left in the Hounds power play. Puck on the far side. Up to Schneider. That shot just wide. Webster got a piece of it. Hounds keep possession. Centering pass to number 8. Left side for Leaf So. His shot was blocked. Comes back to number 8, Ward. Ward over to Leaf So. Far side. Comes back. There's Schneider with the shot. Sent to the far side. Schneider now left side for Leaf So. Thrown into the slot. The outlet pass bounces off player, goes into the corner. Eagle goes and seals it against the boards. Now it comes loose for the Hounds. Chip back against the boards. Comes loose for Leaf So. Sent down low for Ward. Ward with it. Over to Gerlitz. There's a shot off the iron, and that will go out of play. Quite a rifle there. And a close one for the Canadians. Hounds with 41 seconds left in their power play will take the draw on the near side in the Canadian zone. Canadians win that. Sending it down the ice is West. Shredder sets it up for Boal. Boal. Far side for Powell. Powell walking it in. Takes that below the goal line. Cycles in the near side. Cross ice. Looking for Leupold. Leupold throws that up high. That's chipped out by West. Hounds send that up the right side to Boal. Boal carries that down low. He's rubbed off the puck by Duffett. And a Cohen hard to the net is West. West takes a look. Drop pass. Zahara misread it. Turns around, fires it onto Shredder. Canadians have killed off this one too. Zahara with the puck. Shark angle shot. Shredder with the save. Tucks one back onto Shredder. Makes that save too. And the Hounds gonna put the puck down the ice. And icing called here with 7:54 to go in the second period. So the Canadians kill another one off right after Hounds ice the puck. So it's an offensive zone draw for the Canadians, far side of the ice. Puck's dropped. Canadians win it. Frostad with a shot. Knocked down by Ulmer. Chipped out to the neutral zone. Ulmer picks up the puck. Here he comes into the Canadian zone. He dumps it up the near side. Turcotte takes that into the corner. Thorfaldson puts that up the board. There's a shot by Griggins right from the point. Webster couldn't see all of it, got a piece of it. Hounds keep the zone. Now the Canadians able to put that out to center. Griggins puts up in the near boards. That's cut off by Frostad. Frostad, there's the shot. Whistles wide. Turcotte keeps that in the zone. Down low. Woodrich playing it for the Hounds. Moves it up the far side. Gets it to Bourne. Bourne stretches that, looking for 18. Frostad knocks that down. Puck over to Thorvaldson. Nice pass to Enriquez Gomez. Enriquez Gomez, high shot, follows up the rebound. Couldn't contain it. Number 18 for the Hounds. Tries to outlet. That's knocked down by Thorvaldson. Second attempt by the Hounds. Gets it into the neutral zone. Canadians fire it back in. Here's Griggins. Puts that back into the neutral zone. Picked up by number 7. Woodrich gets that into the Canadian zone. Turcotte with it. Over to Frostad. Frostad uses the boards, puts that into the neutral zone. It's going to roll all the way down the ice to the Hounds side. Picked up by number 14. Going to the far side. That's turned around at center. Put back into the Hound zone. Put up the boards. Here's Mickelson coming in. Pass to the right side. Back to Mickelson. Back to the far side. Too pretty. Too pretty. They probably had a shot there, but couldn't get it to go. Hounds keep the zone in the Canadian side. Now the Canadians get a hold of it. Schufelt moves that up the ice. Richard's going to put that deep. Rolls to the near corner. Picked up by Canal. Comes over. Here's the Canadians with it. Held in at the right side by Eagle. Hounds pick it up behind their own net. Leaves so to Loopold. Out to center, Mickelson. Gets that to Hoffer, who completes the dump into the Canadian zone. Picked up by Ulrich. Ulrich. Far side. Gets that up to Heck. Hops away from him. Hounds keep the zone. Ulrich picks up the puck again for the Canadians. Gets that out to center. Cadal picks that up Boal picks that up for the Hounds. Puts that in the near side. Turned around by Ulrich, and he puts that back to the Medicine Hat zone. Canadians pick it up down low into the slot. Comes over. Burnett with a shot. And he's going to put that past the Medicine Hat goaltender, and the Canadians open up a 2-goal lead with 5:05 left in the second period. Forecheck working for the Canadians as they battle down low. Takes a couple of attempts. The first shot was blocked, but the next one comes over to Burnett, and Burnett is going to send that home with 5:05 to go in the second period, giving the Canadians a 2-goal lead. Off the draw, the Canadians win it. They put it deep into the Hound zone. Working it down low is Dollywall. Taylor puts that in front, skips over to the near boards. Duffett keeps the zone. Gets it down to Dollywall. Dollywall back to the point for Taylor. Taylor had it hop off him, and Dick picks up the loose puck. Hands that off to number 4, Gerlitz, but Gerlitz caught offside. And we're going to have a stop and play here with 4:38 to go in the second period. Face off just outside of the Canadian zone. And the Canadians win it. Sharkey gets it back to Duffett. Duffett wide side to Morris. Morris trying to stretch it to Zahara. Skips past him. Icing called here with 4:29 to go in the second period. Face off will be down the far side in the Canadian zone. Puck's dropped. Canadians coming away with it. Nice outlet pass to West. West coming up the left side. He's rubbed off the puck. Keeps possession, though. Flips it up to Duffett. Duffett at the right point. Moves that back to West. West. Left side. There's a shot. Good save by Schroeder. Morris was coming from the point. Thrown out into the slot. Jammed away. One shot. Schroeder makes the save. Jamming away still. Body's hitting the ground. Ref keeps his arm down. Hounds put that out to the neutral zone, and Loopold will put that down. Here's number 5. There's a shot just over the crossbar, and the rebound is going to bounce all the way back into the Hound zone. Zahara jumping on it. He's hauled down, and no penalty here. West picks up the puck on the near boards. Sharkey in there, loosens it up. Comes loose for the Hounds. They're going to put it down the ice. It's going to be right on goal, so Webster has to play it, negating the icing. Canadians move it up the ice. Well, that's knocked down by number 11. Right side. Oh, quick save there by Webster. Canadians get the rebound, put it down into the Hound zone. Here's Enriquez Gomez. Trailer is hard, and it hops off his stick. Followed up by Turcotte. That's fired wide. Near side. Enriquez Gomez. Wanted to move it back to Frosthead. Or comes over, picks it up. Tipped in front by Farvelton. What a beauty there. Farvelton out in front. And he tips that past Schroeder. And the Canadians are out in front 3-0 with 3:07 to go in the second period. Great hand-eye coordination by the Canadian centerman. Changes the trajectory of the puck and gets it past the Medicine Hat goaltender. Great job there by the Canadians. First getting in the zone, keeping it there, and a shot from the right side. Tipped in the slot by Thorvaldson. Canadians up 3-0. Oh, and right away, Medicine Hat answers. They drive it to the right side, throw it into the slot, and they rain on my parade. Hounds score with 2:54 left in the second period. Bring this game within 2. Canadians win the draw, put up the near side. It's going to be icing here as the pass was missed. And we'll take the draw far side in the Canadian zone with 2:46 left in the second period. Puck's dropped. Canadians come away with it. Ulrich behind the net for Eagle. Eagle up the near side for Burnett. Burnett chips that against the boards. Taken away by Bowell. Bowell over to Powell on the far side. Puts that up the ice. Hounds get into the Canadian zone. Thorvaldson gets a piece of it. Puts up the boards. Burnett. Burnett left side. Here's Dollywall. Burnett rips that on to Schroeder, and Schroeder makes the save with 2:22 to go in the second period. The face-off will be on the far side in the Hounds zone. Canadians win the draw. Here's Dollywall on the far boards. Over to Thorvaldson. Thorvaldson shot blocked. Rebound on their side. Eagle activates. Over to Burnett. Burnett puts that deep for Dollywall. Dollywall tried going short side. Trying to jam it in front. But holding tight was Schroeder. Eventually able to cover it up with 2:06 to go in the second period. Face off will be near side in the Hound zone. Hounds win it. Here they come out the right side. Led by Ulmer. Ulmer taking it wide. Tried to throw that in front, but Ulrich had that blocked. Comes through the slot now. Comes over to the near side. Here's West with it. West rushing it up the ice. He's caught from behind. Puck comes into the neutral zone. Eagle sends that back to Ulrich. Ulrich, near side looking for West. West didn't see it, and it skips into the Hound zone. Picked up by Gregains. Gregains puts that up the boards. Comes to Eagle. Eagle fires that just wide. Gregains with it. Sends it back to Schneider. Schneider up to Hoffer. Hoffer centering past to number 18. That's poked away by Eagle. Sharkey's going to enter the zone. Sharkey taking the left side. Resets. Gets it back to the point to Duffett. He puts that down low. Schneider's going to pick that up for the Hounds. Comes loose for number 18. Number 18 gets that up to Mickelson. Hands that off to Hoffer. Hoffer heading up the ice. Takes it wide. Gets the trailer number 12. That's ripped just over the crossbar. Outlet pass from West to Sharkey. Sharkey gets that in the zone. Throws that back to the neutral zone. Duffett checked as he was trying to come into the zone. Here are the Hounds. Armor the ref up. What's going on here? Tripping call going against McLaren Sharkey, with 36 seconds left in the second period. So a late period penalty gives the Hounds a chance to pull within 1. It's only a chance. Face off far side in the Canadian zone. Hounds have it. Back to the point. There's a shot by Powell. That's wide of the mark. Duffett picks it up for the Canadians behind the net. Swings it around to the far side. Held in by number 20, Bowell. Bowell sends that up the boards to Gerlitz. Gerlitz back to Bowell. Bowell has to come out to center to retrieve the puck. He comes up the right side, dumps that down low. 15 seconds to go in the period. Duffett tries to put that off the boards. Powell does a great job knocking it down at the line. Sends it down to Gerlitz. Gerlitz can control it. Morris finds that behind the net. He's going to try and seal it off. Hounds loosen it up. Less than 5 seconds to go. Still battling below the net. And the buzzer goes on the second period. The Canadians able to squeeze that time out. So the Canadians put a bunch in the net in the second period. They're up 3-1 as we break here for the second intermission. Before we do, let's just have a quick look at that second goal where the Canadians put it in the zone. Go up that far side, right into the slot, chipped off, and then following it up was Burnett. So that put the Canadians up 2-0. We'll take a look at the third goal after the break. Right now, a word from our sponsors. If I can find my mouse. Oh, well, let's just use the button instead. Nope. Hello, folks. Getting ready for the third period here at the King's Cup. Let's have a quick look at that third goal by the Canadians. The tip in by Thorwaldson on the near side. Canadians pick it up. Volleyball fires that towards the net. And a nice shot there. And a tip in front by Thorwaldson. At that point, put the Canadians up 3-0. But the Hounds were able to answer back very quickly after that. And we start the third period with the Canadians up on the Hounds 3-1, but the Hounds are on the power play hunting for that next goal. Puck comes into the neutral zone, handled by the Hounds. They're coming up the left side into the Canadian side. Ward with the puck. He's pushed off by Frostad and Taylor. Oh, sorry. I think that was Burnett puts it down the ice. They called icing. They made a mistake here. We'll reset. Rossi pretending to lose it on the bench. There we go at center. 19:36 to go in the third period. Hounds win the draw. Pick it up in their own zone. Leaf so. Goes to the near side. Puck sent to the far side. Frostad knocks that down. He's going to clear the zone. Picked up by Schneider. Schneider over to Leaf so. Leaf so setting up behind his own net. Gets that up to Gerlitz. Gerlitz carries that up the left wing. Crosses in the center. Hangs onto it. Comes over to the right side. Trips on that speed bump on the ice. Knocked away by Thorwaldson. Thorwaldson. No, wait, that's West. West coming up the right side. Wanted to center that for Zahara. Poked away by Zahara. Westy puts that just above the net. And Zahara throws that right into Schroeder. Schroeder ends up knocking the post off. We got to stop here with 18:45 left in the third period. The draw will be near side in the Hounds zone. They have 9 more seconds left on the power play. Puck's drop, Canadians win it. There's a shot by Hoare. Wide and mark. Comes to the far side. Duffett keeps it alive. Tries to drive it towards the middle. Knocked away, but he chips it free of the Hounds player. Picked up by Duffett. He hands that back to Thorwaldson. He hands that back to Duffett. Duffett, far side for Enriquez Gomez. Hoare tries taking a shot, but he had the stick lifted at the last second. Loose puck picked up by Powell. He cycles over to the near side. Coming out of his zone. Comes in the neutral zone. Dumps it in the Canadian zone. Duffett takes the puck away. Slides it behind the net. Picked up by Dooley of the Hounds. Now it's cleared over in the near side by the Canadians. 4 to Thorwaldson. Thorwaldson up to Enriquez Gomez. Off the skates. And it goes into the Hound zone. But they're going to call icing here. And looks like they're setting up at center. They're going to have a stripey convention, and they pass the unanimous vote to have the draw at center. Canadians win it. Eagle with it on the near side. Gets across center and dumps that into the Hound zone. Enrique Gomez tries to chip that out. Hounds find it back. Mathe picks up the puck on the near side, dumps that. Jasper's trying to chase it up. It rolls right towards Webster. Taking a friendly bounce for the Hounds, but the Hounds couldn't reach it. Webster making the stop with 17:42 left in the third period, pardon me, folks. Third period. Puck's dropped. Hounds almost come away with it. Now, back to the point. There's a shot by Schneider, kicked away by Webster. Jaspers puts that back to the point. That's cut off by Schufelt. Schufelt heading down the ice, and he has rubbed off the puck by Schneider. Loose puck in the Hound zone picked up by Matthew. Matthew gets that up the ice to Loophole. Loophole loses that center where Heck dumps that back into the Hound zone. Picked up by Gregains. Gregains sets up behind his own net. Goes to the far side to Loophole. Loophole couldn't get it past the Canadians for a check, and they're going to start again. Here come the Hounds across center. Jaspers up the near side. Shadowed by Ulrich. Ulrich takes the puck away. Puts it up the boards to the Eagle. Eagle to Schufelt. Schufelt takes the heavy hit kept in by the Hounds, who fire it into the near corner. Rushing onto it is Ulrich. Ulrich puts up the near side. Again, looking for Schufelt. That's knocked down. Comes in the neutral zone. And from there, Ulrich fires that around the boards. Picked up on the far side by Taylor. Centering pass picked up by the Hounds. Hounds coming away with it. Number 17 leaves so down the ice, trying to split the D. Gets back to it. Then he puts it in front. That's going to be cleared away by Turcotte. Knocked at the line by Canal. Canal, his shot hit the alley wall and goes to the far boards. Ulrich feeds it around. Picked up by Dollywall. Hands that off to Turcotte. Turcotte tries to move that up to Burnett. That's intercepted by Woodrich. Woodrich sends that back to Canal. Canal on the far side gets it to Leafso. Leafso back to Canal. Now the puck far side for Ulmer. Ulmer's going to rush it out. Woolrich gets that in the Canadian zone. Frostad knocks it down. Chips down low. Ian Webster out to chip to the far corner. Frostad throws it across the ice, looking for Dollywall. Dollywall gets that into the Hound zone, but the Hounds quickly pick it up. Humming back the other way is Bowall. Bowall puts that in, goes to chase, but he's upended. Frostad puts that far side. West couldn't complete the clear. Frostad gets it back, though. Turcotte on the near side. He's going to get across center and dump that into the far corner. Powell picks it up, moves it to the near side for the Hounds. Cut off at the line by Turcotte. He fires that down low. Powell's going to find that. Tries to move it up the boards. That's cut off at the line by Frostad. Chipped over to the near boards. Down low. Boa setting up. Reverses back to the near side. Puts it up the far boards. Friendly pass for Dick. Dick heading towards the net. There's a shot off the, or just above the crossbar. And Zahara gets that up the puck to West. West driving to the net. Couldn't get the backhand to go. Arm of the ref up. We're going to get a hooking call here against the Hounds. I think it's Gregains. They're going to open up the penalty box for the Hounds. Gregains, 2 minutes. Hooking called with 14:47 left in the third period. And the Canadians will be on the power play. Goes into that one. There we go. Puck in the Canadian zone. Dollywall gets that out to the neutral zone. Canal knocks that down. Thorvaldson picks up the loose puck. Takes that on the far side. Trailer is Hoare. Hoare takes that shot, hit his stick, goes wide. Picked up by Thorvaldson. Thorvaldson down to Zahara. Zahara throws that in front. I think the net came off again here. And we're going to stop with 14:14 left in the third period. 1:28 left in the Canadians' power play. Face off far side of the ice in the Hound zone. Frostad, far side to Thorvaldson. Puck comes out to center. Hustling onto it is Dick. Dick takes that into the corner. He's pushed off the puck by Frostad. Thorvaldson sends that to the far side to Zahara. Zahara drops that back for Dollywall. Dollywall with space. Over to Thorvaldson. Thorvaldson puts that off the mask. Comes back to the point to Morris. Over to Thorvaldson. Thorvaldson down low for, I'm guessing, Zahara. Comes back to Hoare. Here's Morris with it at the point. Left side, looking for Hoare. Skips past him down to Dollywall. Looking back for Hoare. Or takes that into the corner, meets some resistance from the Hounds, comes loose for Dollywall. Dollywall, there's a shot, sharp angle, and that is put just wide. Thorvaldsen with it. Kicked loose. Hound's going to get a hold of it, send it down the ice, clear in the zone. Webster sets that up for Morris. Canadians, 15 seconds left in their power play as Morris moves from behind his net and skates out to the neutral zone with it. Morris coming up the left side. Hanging on to it. Waits. Puts it in front to Schufeld. And Schufeld completes the one-timer. Tipped in. I don't know. It was halfway in between. We'll call it a one-timer. Snapshot with 12:46 left in the third period. This power play goal puts the Canadians up 4-1. .46 to go in the third period, and the Canadians have a 3-goal lead. Puck's dropped at center. It's going to be jammed over to the near boards. Canadians West dumps that into the Hound zone. Comes back to the point. Turcotte's going to rip one, and just seen it in time with Schroeder. Rebound goes to the far side. Canadians get it back. Zahir puts that down low. Over to West. West picks that up, cycles to the near side, hangs onto it. Back to the point to Turcotte. Turcotte fired, and that hit traffic. Prosted picks that up on the right side. Takes that behind the net. Over to West. West fires that on Schroeder, and Schroeder, with the strong glove, makes a great save with 12:10 remaining in the third period. Face-off will be near side in the Hound zone. Canadians win it. Turcotte with the puck. Shot through traffic. Picked up on the far side by Taylor. The backhand shot saved. He feeds that behind the net. Gets that to, I think it's Schufeld. That was Dollywall. Check that. Hounds get it behind their own net. Number 12, Schneider, moves that to the far side. Loopholed. Put against the boards. Hounds keeping it, though. They have it against their own corner. Gaines lost the puck, loosened up by the Canadians. Dollywall and Frostad in there working it. Now it comes loose for Matthew. Matthew puts that down the ice, tips it past the defender. Webster out to play it, gets it to Taylor. Taylor centers that. That's knocked down by the Hounds, but Taylor gets it back. He's going to fire that on net, and it's held by Schroeder. We'll have a face-off far side in the Hound zone. 11:20 to go in the third period. Second game of the Kings Cup. Face-off far side in the Hound zone. Puck dropped. Hounds win it. They take it behind the net. Handled by Bowl. Bowl trying to move it up the near side. Gets it out to center. Morris picks up the loose puck, though. Puts it back into the Hound zone. Heck, right side. Schufeld. Put that in front for Heck. Heck jammed that. That was right into Schroeder. Puck comes over to the near boards. Back to the point to Morris. Morris moves that back to Richard. Richard. His shot hit his stick over the net. Picked up on the far side by Duffett. Duffett sends that down low. Boa's going to find that for the Hounds. Reverses it back to Powell. Powell trying to move it up the far side. Turned over in the zone. Morris sends that down low. Far side. Heck throws that in front for Richard. Whistle goes. I'm guessing the net came off. Yes, it did. Schroeder was leaping out to grab the puck. So we're going to stop here with 10:34 to go in the third period. The faceoff will be far side in the Hounds zone. Canadians put some fresh legs on the ice, as well as the Hounds. And we're ready to drop the puck. Hounds win it. Blocked by Thorvaldsen. That exit pass. He feeds that down low. Wanted to get it to Enriquez Gomez. It skips past him up to the near boards. Battle for it in the zone. Comes back to the point. Ulrich fires that towards the net. Knocked down by Thorvaldsen. Comes in the slot. Backhand by Hoare. Just kind of put that into the open space beside the net. Thorvaldson knocks it down. Over to Hoare in front for Enriquez Gomez, and the Hounds had blocked that pass. They're going to break out of the zone. Backhand pass into the Canadian zone. Webster out to play it. Gets to Eagle. Eagle up the boards for Enriquez Gomez. His centering pass knocked down by number 4, Gerlitz, who resets in center. Comes up the left wing into the Canadian zone. There's a shot. Webster fights that one off, and the puck ends up going out of play. Whistle goes with a 9:49 to go in the third period. We'll have the face-off far side in the Canadian zone. Hounds win the draw. Schneider puts that off the far boards, goes deep for Dooley. Dooley centers that, and the Hounds Mickelson couldn't pull the trigger. He puts it back to the point, though. Hounds keep it in. That fired down low, broken up by Frostad. Frostad flips that into the Hound zone, picked up by Schneider. Schneider has the puck taken away by Sharkey. Sharkey turns around the zone. Now it comes back to Schneider up on the far boards. Hounds put that out, but not out of the zone. Frostad sends that into the open corner. Hounds get it back, run up, move it up the near side by Turcotte. Keeps it in. Hounds with it again. Centering pass. That's broken up by West. West coming in. Shot hits the leg. Good block there by Gregains. Gregains reverses it to the far side. Dooley picks that up. Couldn't handle it. Picked up by West. West puts that down low. Schneider gets a hold of it. Puts it up the near side. Back to the point. Turcotte with the shot. Tipped in front by Zahara. Back, and it cleared back to the point. Turcotte with another shot off the skate. Return back to the point to Turcotte. Turcotte gives that up to West. West spins. Sends that left side for Dollywall. Dollywall takes that behind the net. Tries to go short side. Schroeder has that sealed off. Makes the save there with 8:18 left in the third period. Face-off will be far side in the Hounds zone. Taylor out to take the draw against Jaspers. Taylor wins this one for the Canadians, put back to the point by Burnett. Far side, Duffett puts that down low. Puck moved over to the near side. Hounds get a piece of it. Gets Gregains trying to jam it up the boards. Now comes loose for the Canadians. Bowell picks that up for the Hounds. Comes out to center with it. Gets the pass off to number 13, Loopold. Turned around in the Canadian zone, though. Dollywall puts that into the neutral zone. Bowell puts that on net. Webster sets that up for the Canadians D. Dollywall centering pass up to Burnett. Burnett walking it into the zone. Comes up the left side. He has to cycle behind the net. Ran out of real estate, and the Hounds get the puck back. Turned over in their own zone. Richard puts that into the far corner. Knocked down by Leafso. Leafso puts that to the near side to Canal. Canal around the boards, back to the far side to Loopold. Loopold flips that into the neutral zone. Bathe picks that up for the Hounds. Comes in the right side of the Canadian zone. Morris takes him into the boards. Jaspers follows it up. Gets it below the goal line. Centering pass broken up by Richard. Loose puck into the near corner. Duffett picking it up. He puts it behind his own net. Morris has to hustle for it. Here comes number 7, and he beats him to it. That would be Woodrich. Centering pass broken up by Duffett. Back to the line. Cano with it. Fired on net. Webster with the save. Webster looking around, and then the bodies cleared. The seas of hockey players parted enough for Webster to see that. Gets the save with 6:48 left in the third period. Face-off near side in the Canadian zone. Woodrich setting up against the Canadians. Richard. Hounds win the draw. Schneider fires that into traffic. Puck comes back to him. He does it again. This time it's fired wide on the far boards. Ulrich picks it up. Moves that up, looking for Heck. Heck chips that into the Hound zone. Hounds get it back. Here they come up the near side. Tried to feed that up to Jaspers, but it's going to... Almer, sorry, and it skips past him. Eagle on the far corner. Holds the puck against the boards. Richard comes in to help out. Big battles there. Puck comes loose. Now it goes back. Eagle loosens it up. He's going to skate it out. Moves it up to Heck. Heck throws that to the far boards, and it rolls into the Hound zone. Picked up by number 15, Gergains. Gergains tried to stretch that to board, and that was cut off by Ulrich. And Ulrich dumps that deep into the Medicine Hat zone. Turned over. Here's Gerlitz. Oh, put that in front of the net. That horror almost picked off. Still battling for it in the Hound zone. Now comes loose. Put out to center. Gerlitz picks up the loose puck. Tried to move around Frosthead. Sends to the outside. Centering pass. Webster with the save. Comes over the near side. Ward with the puck. He lost it. Horror picks up the loose one. Gets it to Enriquez Gomez. Tapped over to the right side. And Frostad gets in the zone. Swept in by Turcotte. Horror couldn't make it towards the net. Enriquez Gomez with the puck back to the point to Frostad. He keeps that in. Breaking the stick. Somebody send funds to that young man's parents. Puck over to the near side. Battle for it in the Hound zone. Hound's going to pick it up. Gerlitz gets that out to center. Misconnected with Dick. It rolls into the Canadian zone where Morris picks it up. Morris hanging on to it. Up to Enriquez Gomez. That's knocked down by Powell. Picked up by Hoffer, and he dumps that into the Canadian zone. Webster out to play it. Hard off the boards. Up to Morris. Hound's got a piece of it. Put it below the goal line. Bars. Let's see. Who's picking that up? Morris. Puts that off the glass. Held in by Leafso. Canadians get a hold of it and chip it all the way down the ice. Sharkey first to it in the zone. Canadians get some help. Move it up the near side by West. Now he puts that back low for Sharkey. Centering pass for Zahara. He was checked before he could get the shot off. Morris keeps that in the zone. Sends it to the far side. It rolls behind the net. It's going to be picked up by Leafso, who moves that over to Canal. Back to Leafso. Skips over to Dooley. Dooley puts that out to the neutral zone. Morris picks it up. Morris puts that right on net. Schroeder with the stop. Sets it up for his defense. Leafso. Near side for Hoffer. Canadians keep that in the zone. Duffett seals it out on the far side. Enriquez Gomez. Back to Ulrich. His shot. Hit traffic. Stays in play though. Comes out in front. And the Hounds are going to clear that away. Ulrich moves that up the ice. That's picked off by Canal. Off the boards into the Canadian zone where Eagle has it. Gets it up to Ulrich. Ulrich. Centering pass, looking for Burnett. Out of his reach, picked up by Schneider. Schneider coming over to the near side. He has to reverse, sends the puck below the net. Canal picks it up for the Hounds, and it's out to center. Eagle knocks it down. Eagle in his own zone. Resets, gets it up, looking for Dollywall. It skips past him, but Burnett puts it all the way into the Hound zone. Left in the corner. Dollywall follows it up. Comes back to the point. Ulrich with it. He's going to fire that to the far side. Tipped wide. Leopold tries to move it up the ice. That's knocked down. Canal puts it against the boards again. And it's going to bounce out of play and into the Medicine Hat bench. We got to stop here with 2:19 to go in the third period. Face off, far side in the Hound zone. Hounds win it. They take it behind their own net. Bowell reverses it to the corner. Comes back to the point. Frostad keeps it in. There's a slap shot saved by Schroeder. Near side, Turcotte puts that down low, looking for Schufelt. Intercepted by Powell. Powell picks up the receiving pass from Ulmer, but it's chipped off his stick. It stays in the Hound zone. Woodridge takes that down low centering pass. Now it's knocked back down. And the Hounds get it back. Up the ice comes Ulmer. Ulmer up the left side into the Canadian zone. Skips over to the near side. Richard trying to move it off the boards. Gets it over to Frostad. Frostad far side for Schufeld. Centering pass for Heck, and the Canadians are away. Heck over to Turcotte. Turcotte into the zone. Over to Heck. Heck shovels that back towards the net, but as soon as he touches it, the whistle goes. Offside's the call here with 1:24 to go in the third period. Face off, far side, just in front of the Hounds bench. Canadians win it. Duffett takes the right side, gets it into the Hound zone. Hounds get it back. Put up the near boards by Gerlitz. And into the Canadian zone. Morris picks it up. Near side for Hoare. Hoare centering pass knocked down by the Hounds. Canadians get it back. Frostad over to Thorvaldson. Thorvaldson centering pass knocked down by Gerlitz. Ward knocks that to the far side. Morris steps into him. Puck chipped up and out of play. And we'll have the face-off in the neutral zone just in front of the Canadians bench. .56 seconds left in the third period. Face-off, far side of the ice. Zahara wins that, gets it to Sharkey. Sharkey over to Duffett. Gets that to Morris. Morris behind the net to Duffett. It's going to skip past him. Picked up by Ward. Put down low. Zahara back to keep it down low. Now it comes out high. Duffett with it. Right side to West. Over to Sharkey. Back to West. West carries that down low. Over to Sharkey. Sharkey, cross-eyes pass, looking for Morris. Morris puts that deep. Puck comes back to West. Back to Morris at the point. He sweeps that to the far boards. Hounds move that up the far side. Gerlitz gets that into the Canadian zone. Followed up by Ward. Ward takes that into the corner. Less than 10 seconds to go in the game. Sharkey on the near side. Moves the puck off the boards, up the ice. Skates with it calmly and waits for time to expire. And the Canadians take this one 4-1. They improve their tournament record to 1-1. And they will be back on the ice here at 12:30. Where they will be taking on Sherwood Park. Good game for the Canadians. It was close through the first period and most of the second, and then somewhere in the second there, the Canadians really started taking over. Really, that was like last night's game. They didn't play well at all for the first period and a half, but from the halfway point in the second period on, they matched Lloydminster. That's the game the Canadians want to play. They just need that engine running a little hotter before the game starts here. Players have complained about the short warm-up time, but that's just the way tournaments are. Trying to maximize ice time. After the handshake hit, or the teams heading to the dressing rooms, and we're going to sign off here, clean up quickly, go for a snack, and we'll be right back here for the next game against Sherwood Park. Just double checking. I'm like positive it's at 12:30, but as my wife knows, I'm wrong all the time. Let's pull up ramp. And ramp is not working for me, so I didn't write it down. Oh well, you guys know when the game is. Yeah, it's 12:30.